In the 2017-18 school year at Chaparral School, we're celebrating our young writers, helping them find voice, confidence, and joy in the process of expressing their ideas, thoughts, and feelings through authoring original text. In November, our students and teachers had a wonderful opportunity to work with Kathy Beveridge in a school writing residency. Kathy is a local author with several published works to her credit. She's a familiar face in many Calgary schools and has worked with hundreds of students in workshops similar to the ones she facilitated at our school for all students in grades 1 to 6. Before working with students in classrooms, Kathy met with teachers to discuss and collaboratively plan lessons to build upon what students were currently working on and introduce new tools for producing strong writing. In their work with Kathy, grade 1 students learned lots of new descriptive words and used them to create winter poems. As a class, the students brainstormed descriptive words using their senses, sight, sound, and touch. Once they created a list of descriptive words, students wrote their own poems. Through working with Kathy, students learned lots of new words and discovered how they can connect their words with their senses to provide rich descriptions. Reflecting on their time working with Kathy Beveridge, here's what some of our grade 1 students have to say about what they learned.
I can write about winter using words like glittering rainbow skate. I can use the word glittering. I can use longer words and use the word turquoise in my writing. I can use the word rainbow in my writing. I can write about snowflakes. I can use the word soft in my writing.
One of the important things about a residency is that we consider not just what happens during the residency, but how the work is taken up after the residency. The next video clip features another grade 1 student reflecting with her teacher on things that she can now do in her writing. As the student explains what she can do, she references a list that's posted on the wall. That's one of the lists that was created with Kathy when she was in residency in the classroom.
I could use descriptive words. I could add more detail.
Good ideas. So how would you get your ideas for your descriptive words?
I could get it from the posters up there.
The next group of students to share are from grade 5. They'll tell you about some of the things that they learned and share some of the excerpts of the work that they produced while they were working with Kathy.
Kathy Beveridge came to see us in November, and we'd like to share with you a little bit of what she taught us. One of the things she taught us was 4 frames. So that's basically where we put 4 different pictures in like different sections, and then what we do is they kind of give us a plan for what we want to write about next. So one paragraph will be what we drew for the first one, the second frame will be what we're going to write for the next one, and so on. She also gave us our DATs, which have to do with the 4 frame, and in each frame that you tell in a story, you have to have description, action, thoughts, or speech. They all make up parts of the story. She also gave us templates to work off of, so all of us had a similar story line and theme, but we all had different dragons and different things that we could do with them to make them our own and have our own creative twist on them. We also drew dragons, and our kids across the hall had to guess what we were doing based on our description of our dragon. So we would draw them, they only saw our description, and then they drew what their idea and what they portray off of it. So that made us work on having the juiciest language possible and making the most impact on the reader and making sure that they can visualize what we are trying to say.
When you read a story, any story, say you were going to the library to get a book out, what do you really enjoy when you're looking for a good writer?
There's a lot of action, kind of a little bit of comedy, kind of a little laugh, pop, and just a lot of action and lots of twists. There's a guy and a other guy, and they figure out that the other guy is a bad person, and he did lots of bad things, and it's a little twist. because like the writer tries to like get like people to like that other character, and then he like puts like a little twist at the end. The beast was all blue as an icy lake. Its two round heads had teeth that were all black. On the back of the beast's head were spikes that came from the head and continued all the way to its two tails. It had a diamond shape on the back of its two tails. Loud stomping and scratching came from its two big feet. Looking at the beast, its tiny little wings fluttered its big fat body off the ground. The creature was running towards me. Then I recognized the creature from the Book of Dragonography. Yeah, that's all. It's because it's like where like the dragon was coming in, and I put lots more description and more detail to it because there's like a new character coming into the story. Because when you're just starting off in a setting, like I came to a cave, and it's like you have to put lots of detail to like the beginning and the middle and the end, and especially when there's a new character, like what was he wearing or she, and what did he look like or she, and was he or she all feathery, or was she a bad person, or was he a dragon or a chicken probably, and yeah.
Awesome. So when I think about that, like what you're saying is it really shows me that you're really thinking about what the reader needs to know to enjoy your story, and that is what a real author does. Is there anything else you want to tell us about the residency or the writing process?
Well, I can just say that it was probably the most funnest experience I had with writing.
I love that. Do you like writing?
Oh yeah.
You're very good at it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
I like this part because it had like action, so the reader's engaged, and it's at the very beginning of my story for the exact reason, because it hooks the reader so they really want to read more of my story. And also I infused it with a bit of emotion and tried to pretend that like I know it was me, but like I was actually going through this and kind of the thoughts that would be going through my mind in this type of experience. I'll start. In the blink of an eye, the ground shook uncontrollably, and a natural amber light emanated from behind a thick sediment door approximately 20 meters away. I began to sprint and maneuver around the boulders of rough rock falling to the ground uncontrollably, thundering in my ears. I was literally running for my life. With every powerful stride, the thought of what was hiding behind that door made my stomach lurch. By the time I reached the door, sweat was pouring off my face in all directions. It stung as it poured into my eyes, which were darting around, staring into what seemed like an endless pit of darkness. I threw myself onto the frozen sediment door, but it didn't budge. I grasped my backpack tightly, and in a panic, tossed it against the stationary door as well. No movement either. This is it, I thought. I will perish down here. No one will know. My family will worry. They will come after me, but never find my limp, dead body underneath the mountain of rocks that I expected to tumble down any second now. Suddenly, something cracked, and the door tumbled inward. I stumbled in and pressed myself against the hard, rocky wall. Tears filled my eyes, clouding my vision as the hard rock crashed to the ground, thundering in my ears. Dusty ash filled the claustrophobic room, and as it fell, I saw the entrance that I first came in was blocked with jagged boulders that had tumbled down at an alarming rate a matter of seconds ago. I would have to hope there was another exit out of the mysterious room. Thick ash clouded my vision and permeated the musty room. I chose my piece because I really enjoyed writing about it, and it really got my attention when I was writing it, and I just got really into my work and didn't want to stop. Hello, Frosty, I said, stepping back slowly. I carefully tried to place the ruby-encrusted sword into my belt, hoping Frosty wouldn't notice. He noticed. He erupted an enormous blast of ice. I jumped to the side, the sword slipping from my hands. Quickly, Frosty lurched forward, yanking the sword underneath him. I guess he likes that sword, I thought, barely able to breathe. Then an idea hit me. I cautiously walked over to the wall and picked up 2 stones, plus at least half a dozen sticks. The dragon launched you with a withering glare that even the mightiest creature would have been afraid of. Crack, crack! I banged the 2 rocks together. Sparks flew from the cool ridged stones, lighting the sticks on fire, which I'd laid in a line across the room. Frosty growled, shaking the room and putting cracks in the ground. He whipped his hand out in an attempt to whack me, but I stepped backward and all Frosty got was a burned paw. He whimpered and blew a freezing geyser of ice, but the flames were too big. Almost instantly after the ice left Frosty's mouth, mouth, they melted, scattering wet puddles all over the floor. Frosty seemed to understand that he couldn't summon enough ice to put the dancing flames out. Still glaring, Frosty backed away into a nearby hallway. I waited a few minutes to see if he would return. He didn't. Now that I had the dragon problem dealt with, I can move on to the next problem, grabbing the Majestic's board and getting out. The first part was easy. I pulled out my water bottle and drenched the flames, which died instantly. I grabbed the shiny sword, which was just lying on the ground, and looked around. Now for the getting out problem. I looked around to see that there were 3 exits. I could either go the way the ferocious dragon went, back the way I came, or out a nearby window. My options weren't great. No doubt if I went the way the dragon went, I was sure to become dinner. But back the way I came wasn't tempting either. 1, I would have to go through that obstacle again, and 2, I would have to walk by many mysterious hallways, with many shadows Frosty could look through. Then there was the window. I took a peek out. The ground was very far away. I would definitely die if I jumped all the way down. Then something caught my eye. Not too far away grew a fairly tall tree. If I jumped to that, I would get a few bruises at most. Plus, there's no way that the dragon could have hidden in all that green. My idea was getting better by the second. Goodbye, cave, I whispered excitedly. I took a few steps back and did a huge sweep through the window and out into open air. It was like I was flying, so free from the world. It was actually fun, until it wasn't.